I'm back. Greetings. Can you all hear me now? Is it better at all? Is it any better? A little bit. Say yes. Say yes. Are you still? All right. Okay. Peace and greetings, everyone. Peace and greetings, Chief Yuya. Thank you so much for you guys giving me a little sound check, a big sound check, actually, because I was there talking to the wind. So it's good to see everyone in the space. Again, greetings. How could it have been any worse? Okay. I love yum shishi bills. It's always really great. Everyone being in the same space. Thank you again. Greetings again to Chief Yuya, the one and only selector, think all, big man, think all, Jegna of our New Life Global Ministries. He makes it possible for us to be here and build and share. And so, yes, peace and power to you. Enjoy your Sabbath. All right. Big ups to everyone else who is in the chat. Imayakira Eden, peace. Let me see who else I see. Abayada Ram, peace and greetings. Imanaya, greetings. And Jeanette Askew, greetings. Hi, peace. How are you? You look like a new face. So welcome. Welcome, welcome. It's always good to see great new faces. Um, I want to start off with just giving praise and honor to the Most High Yah and Elohim, actually, for every opportunity this strong to detox, right? Whether it's a detox the liver or detox the mind or detox the mouth, the brain, um, because it gives us an opportunity to grow, gives us an opportunity to do more and decipher more. I give thanks to the Most High for have the opportunity to have access to knowledge that gives us the opportunity to grow our wisdom and seek wisdom, actually, and grow our understanding, right? Because I really think that that was a huge part of the lessons this strong. And we're going to do things a little bit different this evening, just a little, not too much. Today's focus is A alikes, B alike, C alike. And so you're probably saying, well, what is an A alike? So we'll talk a little bit about what an A alike is and what community means to us as Anu. We're also going to jump into and not very deep, because most times I tend to like start digging into each of the aspects of the strong. But this yam shishi, I want to pull on you all. I want to pull on you all to really dig in and share what your takeaways were. And I say that because I think the last time I did it here, it was toward the end, the very end, and I really enjoy that component where I get to see what aspect of a particular piece of knowledge that my ear likes focus and zoom in on, right? Because it enlightens each of us, right, when we share in that way. So, I'm going to be asking you to share a whole lot in the chat this evening. We should all acknowledge Sabbath and acknowledge that this is a time for closing of our cycle of work and our cycle of producing and doing and moving and daily movement, and give thanks and acknowledge that seventh day, and acknowledge sharing that 7 day with our likes, right? I think that's crucial. That's important. Uh, it. Oh, I missed that part. International Dandana. Yes, indeed. Straight, straight. Peace, Akira. Peace, Akoti Yafe. All right. So we have a good, nice, strong side. Always good, nice, strong side. So I actually, I thought that I wanted to start off with a biblical piece today. So the biblical piece I pulled was from Exodus 3:11. And so Exodus 3:11 reads, "But Moses said to Elohim, who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and bring the children of Israel out of Egypt? He said, but I will be with you." Elohim said, "I will be with you, and this shall be the sign for you that I have sent you. When you have brought the people out of Egypt, you shall serve Elohim on this mountain." Oh, yeah. Then Moses said to Elohim, "If I come to the people of Israel and say to them, 'The God of your fathers has sent me to you,' and they ask him, 'What is his name?' what shall I say to them?" And God said to Moses, "I am who I am." And he said, "Say this to the people of Israel, 'I am has sent me to you.' Say this to the people of Israel. So the Most High, the Lord, the God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, Yaqub, has sent me to you. This is my name forever, and thus I am to be remembered throughout all generations." So we are breaking this piece down. This is the offering because when we think about A alike, B alike, and C alike, it's important to understand our roots, like where we come from, right? Who is the Elohim that we acknowledge and understand? Like what foundation are we moving from? And I think All Strong, I always say that, like All Strong, it keeps coming up, right? Each of the different components of our opportunities to study and each of the times that we have different members and our JEGNA, the International Dandara, uh, um, giving us more insightful knowledge through the podcast. And then we have our, like our history build on Thursday. You get to see how there's that intertwining, right? Consistently. And I thought this strong, it was important to acknowledge that there is a knowledge base, there's a code, there's a structure, there's a foundation that is cultural and focused and fixated on nation building that holds us all up, right? And puts us in a place where we could say, oh, A alike, B alike, C alike. And I think this piece of scripture is important because here all he says was, "This is my name," right? And so when you say to them, "This is who sent you," say, "My name," and let them know that that is my name forever, and I should be remembered, and that's how I should be remembered throughout all generations. So, and that idea of all generations brings us back to the importance of lineage, community, family, kinship. That it is just a thread of followers of the way. Know who you are, know who you're connected to, and understand that this particular name, it's something that you should know and all generations should know it. And that helps us to be able to tie ourselves to our roots, right? We would be able to know where we come from. And so I that's one of the reasons why I pulled it as well. I also thought of, at the beginning of our strong, Akizak shared. Listen, if you didn't know, now you know. I go to the clubhouse or go to the series within, or the playlist within this channel, the Anu Life Global Ministries channel, and look for the midday affirmative called Breaking Cycles. Very powerful, very, fiery. And it really pulled on us breaking cycles of old habits and old thoughts, old behaviors, and shifting and moving but not just moving off of our own power. And I think that's what's important in this piece in Exodus here, because he's kind of saying, yeah, you didn't send yourself, right? When you go to the people of Israel and they ask you questions, you didn't send yourself. I sent you. And he also shared with him, yeah, I'm going to be with you. So you're not walking alone, you know? You're never walking alone. That's the reality, right? Because if we are lineage, if we are a part of a lineage, and it means that that lineage has many successions in terms of its like generations, right? So no one is moving off of their own, right? You're not moving off of your own genes. You're not moving off of your own, right? So there's that continuation. And that doesn't mean that that's an excuse to kind of sit back and be like, oh, it's going to be fate, because we still have to work, you know? So that's why I offered this piece. And for those of you who, this strong, remember I said this strong, this evening, I will be pulling on you all to share more of your takeaways, but also what has been pushing you through the strong. So for those of you who probably rise in the early times, in the dawnings, for one reason or the other, or you, whether it's, whatever it is, or in the evenings or late at night before you rest, you find yourself pulling on a piece of scripture, and sometimes it or any sacred text or sacred teachings that has pulled you through the strong. Can you share it in the chat and just say why this pulled you through the strong, right? Because it may offer solace, it may offer comfort, it may offer inspiration to someone else, that will help them either close off their strong, or they may even carry it into next strong, right? So for those of us who actually have one, if you hear anything loud in the background, just pretend like you didn't hear it, because there's a lot happening outside now. Um, but yeah, I'll wait for you all to share and jump back in the chat. I think I greeted Aki Ra, but I see Aki Hamza L join, who has joined us. So peace, greetings, and peace to Mayuba Devi, and Shabbat Shalom to everyone, depending on where you are. But I know for me, it's, I would like to greet everyone. So again, just as quickly as you can, share if there was a piece from the Tanakh or a piece from any other sacred text that you used to pull you through the strong, or you used it because you were studying it all strong and you can't wait to share, do the click clack move thing in the chat. That would be helpful. But as I wait for you all, I know at the beginning, first of all, you probably have seen the thumbnail, and you're saying, A alike, B alike, C alike. What is an A alike? So I wanted to quickly just share, because it might be a new term for you. It might be, but for many of us, it is not a new term. It's a term we use all the time. And we use it to refer to fellow Anu members, fellow family. And we want to share some of the content and the concept background behind an alike, based on what it means to Anu and Anu culture. All right, and this is directly connected to something else. I see some pieces coming in, but I'm just going to switch up now and share really quickly what an alike is, because I kind of wanted to make sure that I introduce the fullness of that. I think I lost my, I'm so sorry, y'all. I think I lost something. That I was actually trying to include here. I don't know where it went to, but the other one is gone. in the wind. But I do have a alike right here. So a alike refers to members of our community, right? And an a alike is utilized in other cultures and other movements or groups, right? I've heard it utilized elsewhere. Pardon, I won't say necessarily say where. Um, I don't. I mean, I don't know if there's anything against that, but I don't think so. But for Anu, we consider ALItes to be members of our community, and ALItes share the same culture, behaviors, beliefs, and views. And it's a term that's synonymous or connected to kinship. And when we think about kin, that word kin directly relates to lineage and family. It refers to those who match you in vision, words, mission, and action. All right? Matching you in vision, words, mission, and action. All right? So, what do you see? Right? What do you see? And is what you see for that community based on your physical eyes, or is that vision given from Yah? All right. And in the case of Anu, that vision is given from Elohim, from Yah. Words, right? That's why we're going over this right now, what an alike is, because, you know, if we match each other in the words that we use to describe each other and to describe the concepts or to refer to concepts that we're all familiar with, it means that now we have a common language, right? And a common language is crucial when we talk about nation building. It's important to have a code, right? And right now, Aki El Carrara is like going through what it means to Code of Hammurabi and what that means and why it was used. And so I just wanted to quickly share what an alike is. Can you all see me yet? Or is this, oh, I'm back. Sorry, I'm back. I took a little while, but I'm back. All right. And it also says that our kinship is defined by conscious rebirthing and devoted work into Anu culture and mission. Right. So that conscious rebirthing is really important and directly connected to breaking cycles, which Aki Zach touched on, not even touched on, sorry. He gave a whole, I was about to say preaching, but he gave an entire midday affirmative on breaking cycles. And being an alike is also connected to being devoted to the work, and that work is the work that is involved in maintaining applying, understanding the culture of Anu, which is, of course, knowing what it is, being able to identify, living it, which is the doing of it, which is the wisdom, and then that understanding comes, right? And also the mission, like what is that purpose, overall purpose. So I just think going over what an alike is really crucial for this evening's build and moving forward, because I'm sorry, 1 second. I think I'm sorry. I think I'm about to have an issue. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry. I think all my notes, everything is about to close down or crash, and I don't want that to happen. I don't want it to happen. But anyway, what I'll do is I'll jump back into the chat. Never mind me and my silliness. I'll jump back into the chat, because before I went off to do the breakdown of alike, I noticed that Akira actually shared a bit in the chat, so I wanted to jump in and share and see that, because I really want to acknowledge all of us, right? It's not just Sister Maria gets up here and just goes off the entire time. That's, you know, that's that's not the ideal idea of fellowshipping and, exchange and reciprocity and give and take and thing, So yeah. So Akira says, one thing that has helped me has been going to the masjid, worshiping with others, and building with some of the youth in the temple. I've been looking forward to closing out my strong with worship and volunteering. Understood. Understood. Yakira Eden shares, all strong have been digest. Ooh, Katrina. All strong I have been digesting slowly a word from the Anue. We are opposed to anything that diminishes the liberty of women to act and think in the way as originally intended by the Elohim, by the originator of life and form, the Elohim, the 14, but possibly. So, but so tell us more, because like I think I took a glimpse at something in our community chat earlier, and I noticed that you shared that. Um, and I think it's important to think about what the Anue charges us to be as women, which is free in our emotions. So if that's locked up, that becomes a problem, right? If that gets shut down, that's a problem. So I definitely think that I know we all want to hear more about it. I want to hear a little bit more about it because I also think when members of our community share some of the sayings, some of the scripture, or some of the content from the Anue, and that like sticks with them, or like stuck onto them like glue during a strong or during a period of time. I always think about how valuable it becomes to the entire group. Many times it's just we see it as a personal, without realizing that it's an angle, it's a face, it's a facet. Like if we think about a, a a precious stone that's cut or faceted, and there are all these different planes or angles on it, then each person receives a piece of information from a different angle, right? And all those angles kind of come together to give a larger um, lens, and a new lens. You dig? Right. And a new lens. So I appreciate you sharing that too, in this space. And for those of you who are wondering, I think I mentioned it earlier. This is pulled from the Anu way. Akira says working out has definitely also helped with really resting on the Sabbath. Right. Listen, there is no sweet sleep, or no sleep sweeter than rest and sleep that comes after your sweat, your workout, you study hard, you work hard, and then you just drop everything and you get to relax in a nice, clean space. Everything's laid out, and you're like, yes, Elohim, give thanks because I worked for this. So that's really, I see what you're saying. Yeah, sleep is very sweet when you after working out, and after a sea bath. By the way, just thinking about detoxing. Um, our charge from last from Yom Rishon was to yeah, detox, right? Specifically detox the liver, but detox. And so Sea bath is very detoxing, um, but it will also make you sleep. Sweating makes you sleep, right? And that sleep, that rest becomes very sweet. Right? So, you worked for it. Top tier speaker says Shabbat Shalom Anu. Apologies. Yep, Shabbat Shalom. Top tier speakers. No, sir. You know, you're never too late. Well, I don't know. Maybe others may see something different. You're never too late. Once you showed up. Willing all have a lovely strong. I had a lovely strong indeed. Thank you. Shabbat Shalom, Master Menelek. Thank you for being in the space. Shabbat Shalom. So Imaya Kira Eden continues. This is from the woman section of the Anue. It is an affirmation that reminds me of my value, all that I am to be within this space as envisioned by my head. Beautiful. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. It's, when you say it's an affirmation, it just immediately made me think of the idea of affirming versus praying, right? Versus that begging and pleading but affirming that a thing is moving and growing and working in our lives, and not because like it's bad Holy Spirit. No, it's because like we're actually doing it. We're actually moving every day toward another level or another layer of what that looks like, right? To be completely free in our emotions, and to not just for others, but for us to be opposed to what diminishes that. I definitely think, and many things. It's interesting. Many things that we expose ourselves to actually diminishes it. False ideas, false ideas about who we are as women, false ideas about aggrandizing one gender over the other, false ideas about black girl magic, false ideas about us being warrior women who completely function on our own independently without the masculine energy or the man to give us headship, direction, leadership, and light. Yeah. These things diminish who we are, right? They diminish who we are. And, I think about going back to even one of the older podcasts that it's not an older podcast. Let me not say that because it's not. But there's so many podcasts coming out, and they're each of them, they feel full. They feel so full to the point where I'm telling you, I am not completely studied up on even last month's few podcasts, like final podcasts. No, not yet. Because each of them are so full. There was a point that I was trying to make and connect to what you shared, Ima Yakira Eden, because I think like what you're sharing is very powerful. And for those of you who are unsure of where to find the Anue can be found on the Anu Life Global Ministries website, anulifeglobal.org. You can access the blog. You can access the registration form if you want to apply to be sponsored. But you can also find a copy of the Anue there, and in there you'll find a complete breakdown on Anu code, Anu edicts, Anu culture, Anu's mission, vision, even required qualities of an woman and woman, and what a woman should be and should do, and how she should function, how she functions, not should, functions, you know. So I definitely think those are it. Freestyle, okay. That was like so long ago. That was what, 9 minutes ago. um so I missed that part in my Akira Eden. I don't know if I could freestyle. Imanaya. All right. Imanaya says, I've been studying the Hebrew letters, and in studying Lamed, and for those of you, I am so sorry. I apologize. Well, I'm not sorry, but I apologize that I do not have a nifty Lamed picture to point and throw up on the screen for you all, but you could just, go over while you're listening, just, open up a new tab and type in Lamed, Hebrew letter, so you could see the shape of Lamed. Yes, exactly the shape of Lamed. I found it, Imanaya says, I found it beautiful, how that is the tallest letter and comes from the root lamad, meaning to learn. That made me think about how we're taught. Interesting. And that makes me think about Morea, even my name meaning teacher. And I tend to lean toward educator, but I think about that idea of learning and imparting learning experiences to others and to ourselves. What type of learner are you, Imanaya? What kind of learner are you? How do you uh, learn new information, new behaviors, new concepts? Okay, she also says that made me think about how we're taught that if you can't teach it if you didn't learn it. You can't teach it if you didn't learn it because you don't know it. Also, focus on the shortest scripture in the Anue. Be kind. I've experienced various types of, excuse me, having technical difficulties with the light crew. Please, can you, uh, please fix the problem? I'm just joking. There's no light crew. um, She says she's focused on the shortest scripture in the Anue, be kind. I've experienced various types of kindness this strong, and it made me really see how kindness is noticed and reciprocated. Yeah, so being in the north, like in New York, is a little bit different when it comes to showing kindness and reciprocity of kindness. But here I notice and I'm in North Carolina. So here I notice that it is very easy to trigger a chain of um, gratitude, reciprocity, kindness, smiles, and just, like conversation is very, very simple. And when people like greet you and ask you how, like how you doing and so on, they genuinely are, asking you how you're doing. And sometimes you see others and they'll greet you, out of kindness, or they may be minding their business, but something kind of spurs you in the moment to say peace, or greetings, or hey, good morning, just in the language they'll understand, and it starts off an entire conversation that you didn't expect. And if we hold on, like to ourselves, and we become so self-centered that we don't recognize others and engage with them, then it shuts us off. It shuts us off from having a full experience, right? Having a full experience. So thank you for sharing that. Master Manila says you don't sleep with the sweat still on you. I mean, no, you better not sleep with the sweat still on. Oh my goodness. You better not. Please don't. Don't do it. Don't do it. um I, like I wanted to go back a little bit, right, before moving forward, because something that Yakira even said, and I know you're clearing up and adding even more. Ooh, Grace is, ooh, yeah. Um, oh, the I Ching, oh, the I Ching, last love, the I Ching. Well, not last. Yeah, the I Ching. Very, yeah, I don't even know what to say right now. Just, all right, let me stop, because what's happening is y'all probably losing me. You're probably saying, what's going on with Maria right there? So something I wanted to point out from Yakira Eden's share earlier, her point about the piece of affirmation that she pulled on this strong, which comes from the Anu way, was that we are opposed to anything that diminishes the liberty of women to act and think in the way as originally intended by the originator of life and form. And I know there are many different ways to interpret this, to build on it. And I know Yakira Eden has shared her further musings on it. But I wanted to share a quick story, right? So where I work, drinking water and having water bottles, that's a big thing. So we were given the opportunity to decorate bottles, right? It's just a quick activity or whatever. And so there were these stickers, all of these different stickers. I wish I had the little water bottle so I could show you all, because I like my little bottle with all the different sayings. Personally, I was actually looking at the sayings and changing them and switching them for new ideas and new words. I literally had it right next to me in the lounge while I was doing it. But um, I I noticed something about the sayings. What I noticed about the sayings was that all of the sayings, though some of them were positive, most of them, a matter of fact, not that, most of them that referred to a gender in a positive way, or any gender at all, referred to the female. And at all times it was that the female was powerful, or the female is powerful. And yes, we understand when we think about Shiva and Shakti, we understand that that female or energy is the power, but that power does not exist, or magnetism doesn't exist without electricity. So Shiva doesn't exist without Shakti. So the masculine doesn't exist without the feminine, right? The feminine, and the feminine doesn't exist without the masculine. Like, they're in balance and they're always showing up. But on the table, all you could see were stickers that empowered the feminine. Unfortunately, what many may not realize is that those sayings actually diminish. They're things we would be in opposition to, because it diminishes the actual truth about like what a woman is, right? And what the feminine is. And so, as I was reading through what you shared, I couldn't help but to go back to what I noticed as I was looking through the pictures, and I said to the stickers, and I kept saying to myself, so not only do I have to question who created it, but I also had to question who decided to select this bunch and place them here, and why, right? And maybe they did it without thinking, but that's what I appreciate about Anu, that A alike, B alike, C alike, because we could see, and I'm pretty sure if I took those, the entire bunch of them, I know I'm going on about stickers, but I think it's so important to think about what we feed to ourselves, right? Imagine putting a sticker on a bottle that houses and holds the water that you are consuming. I cannot imagine how it's being programmed with the words written on it, and every time you read it, and then you heads up, you drink, it's another affirmation that you stick in your brain, right? So can you, I couldn't help but look at it, and I started to question who and why, right? Who and why. And yeah, I see the numbers dropping, but reality check, right? A alike, B alike, C alike. All right. And Chief teaches us how to decipher, right? So when we decipher, we see the truth of a thing. And when you see the truth of something, you can't deny it. You have to know that it's there, and you have to understand. You have to know, say, like, yeah, I'm not gonna be a part of it, but also who put it there? Why? Why? That's it. We could go more, but So Chief's answer to my earlier question was Kian, heaven in the I Ching. And so the I Ching is another text that's a sacred text to, not necessarily to from Western culture, but Eastern. And I Ching is the book of changes, right? Called the book of changes. So he says that it speaks of how der, the dragon moves from through layers after laying in the deep waters. It is a reminder to leap in the air and grab opportunities without overconfidence. Hmm. Yeah. Every time, I'm just gonna always say, "Can you share more and explain, please? Thank you very much." Thank you very much. The piece about being a reminder to leap in the air and grab opportunities without overconfidence. Um, does that? Would you say? I wonder if that includes, like, or is preceded by humility, right? That doing so without overconfidence requires humility. Requires humility. Yeah. Because I could see how being overconfident can cause you to, like, overshoot, miss the target. I wouldn't even say overshoot, but miss the target. Um, and miss the opportunity. Because in midair you might get shut down, right? Because you think, I got this, you know. Um, but yeah, as I read it, I'm grateful for your share, and I wonder how important humility is. Not wonder, I'm thinking humility is a big part of being able to rise to that occasion of grabbing hold and seizing opportunities, but um, doing so with humility, and doing so with humility. Right? Let me spotlight it, because I read it and I absolutely forgot. Um, absolutely forgot. Okay, give me 1 second, please. If you see me looking down, please forgive me. All right. um, So I'll read again. Chi's answer is Kian, heaven in from the I Ching, also called the Book of Changes. It speaks of how the dragon um, moves through. I see the uppercase A, and I'm like, moves through layers layers after laying in the deep waters. Reminder to leap in the air and grab opportunities without confidence. And he may share a little bit, he may share more. Okay, yeah, there's more down there. Okay. And there's so much more. So let me move a little bit faster. Yakira Eden expounds on her previous statement about opposing anything that diminishes the woman. She says more so she's speaking about the ownership and exploration of how wants, greed, and false sense of entitlement is a hindrance. Instead, the liberation is in the gratitude. None is earned, yet still all is given. None is earned, yet still all is given. Grace. Yet all is yet still all is given grace, or all is no, you have it. You have a period. All is given grace. Yeah, give thanks for grace. Yeah, give thanks for grace. Because without, if you I think humility comes in again, because if you don't have that humility, you can't see we can't see that we're being offered grace. You can't see you're being offered grace. You can't see that it's an opportunity. All you see is what you think you should get. I think one of our brothers actually did a breakdown on this. It was Master Menelek, and it was on expectation versus reality. All right, so that's one that you can actually dig into too, because it does highlight and speak to. I'm sorry, it does highlight and speak to. Oh, sorry. It does highlight and speak to exactly what you're mentioning here. Um, this idea of wants, greed, and false sense of entitlement, versus like what you earned, you know, and regardless of that, it's yeah, grace, and not, I wanted to just quickly say, like, not grace from the perspective, the Christian perspective, right? Because even that sometimes songs as entitlement. So it's really important to see that there's a huge difference. Master Menelek shared Lamed. So earlier I was showing the shape of Lamed with my hands, but Imanaya was speaking about her exploration of Lamed, the Hebrew letter Lamed. And here, exhibit number 2, we have Lamed written, and a finger point. Okay, let me stop. Top tier speaker says, I have been listening to audios of Marimba Ani about her book Yurugu. I've also been studying the meaning of my name, which has been fascinating. All right. Yeah, you can share a little bit more about that. Marimba Ani, for those of you who may not be familiar. Well, here's what I'll do. Chief Yuya has also shared one of the previous Chief Yuya podcasts on I think it was called, I'll have the name for you in a couple seconds. Foundations of African Thoughts. And in Foundations of African Thought, if I'm not mistaken, I think one of the texts, because I started digging into and looking back at which texts I remember. And I think Marimba Ani's Yurugu may have been one of those books. But Foundations for African Thoughts, actually, Chief goes through a list of texts that are, I guess some people might consider it suggestions, but it's not. These are it's a directive hidden inside the episode. That's episode 72. So he includes a list of books that we should be studying. So thank you for sharing that. And maybe you could share a little bit more about what you're learning from the text Yurugu. Imanaya says she's a kinesthetic learner mostly. Give thanks. Okay, Massimonelik. Massimonelik says I was kind of late. Was the question about what we have been studying? The question was really not about what we were studying, but what text or a verse from scripture or any sort of sacred text that we have been pulling on all strong. All right, maybe we've been studying it or we've been using it to fortify us during the strong. All right. Imanaya says, right, thank you for that. What scripture have you leaned on to get you through the strong, and or what have you been studying? So I really wanted that first one. What were we leaning on throughout the strong? Yakira Eden says, yes, speak on it. There is no zero fulfillment without that one. What can we take in and gestate if nothing is injected? No light, no life. Hey! Hey! It's true. I'm so sorry. It's true because in that last episode, right, that Chief just did, where he breaks down symbols and numbers, and I'm not, listen, go listen to it yourself. Sister Maria is not sitting up here no more just talking off her notes or sharing from the. Go and dig into numbers and symbols. And what Chief has said he would do is he would share all of the other numbers. I think 6, 7, and up in a following podcast. So get busy. Get busy. But yeah, in that last podcast, he mentioned or spoke to that balance of Shiva and Shakti, and he referenced one of his. I think he was referencing one of the episodes he did. This was back in 2017 when this was, and I think it's some enlightenment and transformation actually. But this was during the time when it was Chief Speaks. And let me tell you something. During Chief Speaks, it used to be on a Sunday, which is Yom Rishon. And I used to take my little book. Look the book right here. It not have no it have a little spine left, but it have no cover because it lost its cover. And I'm slowly in the process of transferring some of those notes and so on. So this one is one of the few notes that I haven't finished transferring yet. This one was from May 6, 2017. Power is what it's called. And it was on Shiva and Shakti. And he really gets into that idea of the consciousness and power. And one of the things I thought was very important is to know that power becomes pregnant by consciousness in order to establish order. Power becomes pregnant by consciousness, right? So who becomes pregnant? With what? Consciousness, light, right? Right? Because, that's the man, that's electricity. So as Yakira Eden says, no light, no life. This is like true. So the woman takes in that light, right? The woman takes in that light. That's how you're able to produce. Let me spotlight this because what's happening is I'm forgetting. I'm leaving the old comment on and I'm moving on, and I am just forgetting to just put a spotlight on it. And for those of you who see you're engaging with some of what I'm sharing, but what is also being shared in the chat, and you want to give feedback, or you want to expound a little bit more, or you want us to expound a little bit more, you place your questions, your statements, your musings, I like to say, in the comment section below this video. And like and share. Like and share and subscribe to Anu Life Global Ministries YouTube channel, because there's always healthy, strong conversation and inspirational dialogue and community conversation coming from this channel, right? Always. And that's off of, Chief Yuya, the international Don. No, Chief Yuya or Chief Jegna. All right. All right, Chief. Chief says Kian has 6 lines in the hexagram, and each represents a posture needed at that stage of movement. At that stage of movement. Yeah, they're like 64. Okay, so I won't go into all of that, but there are 64 total hexagrams. And this one, Kian, is actually heaven. And I'm trying to remember the visual of heaven, because there's just a way. I remember when I was trying to remember some of these configurations of the hexagram, I always think about, well, where's fire? Where is lake? And, like, where is the space? Right, because the visual kind of helped me to understand each of the hexagrams. But this is very powerful, because what this is doing, and I mean, I love that we're able to share what we're pulling on, because it teaches us something about the value of learning and the love of learning, the idea of exploring all of the various texts and sacred texts and pulling from those sacred texts and understanding. And I'm not saying, oh, go and just take whatever. That's not what I'm saying. I am saying you could pretty much close your eyes when Chief has given you a text to explore, and explore it, right? Because it's vetted. So thank you. I'll read it again. Kian has 6 lines in the hexagram, and each represents a posture needed at the stage of movement. So now that makes me consider how those 6 lines, what each line is, and how do those 6 lines stack up various concepts, or what posture, how I missed this? What is happening in the chat? I'm sorry. Oh my goodness. And now I'm over here touching on it, which makes no sense. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. I feel like I feel dirty now. Oh my god. Take it off. Take it off. Take it off. Get away. Oh my goodness. I missed some of this, so let me go back. Thank you for those of you who are just jumping in and just joining us. Please place in the chat if you can, just like, what have you been pulling on all strong, and okay, what have you been studying? But put a scripture or a piece of text from a sacred text that you've been working on or working with all strong, whether it's pulled you through the strong or you're studying it and pulling on it through the strong. Just share that in the chat, please. So Chief continues to say, sometimes we can leap and make a big to-do about it, and other times we need to quietly embrace opportunities. This is true. This is yes, this is true. This is true. Yeah, I hope it's not much to do about nothing. But this is true. There are different ways to move. And if we're, it actually is very powerful what you're sharing. Always, I think about the idea of numbers and symbols, and how those numbers and symbols help to show us how we should be moving. But there are also a sum total of how we have been moving and the patterns that we have created in our journey thus far. Um, I also like that what you're sharing here is that we there are times when we have to break that pattern of, like the proclamation, right? And actually not focus on the proclamation but production, right? Because execution is all that matters. And maybe not, execution matters, and sometimes execution just needs you to execute, and not, it doesn't need a proclamation. It doesn't need the whole world to hear you say, oh yeah, I'm gonna dive off this board right now, you know. um, just, being methodical, having a plan, and executing based on the plan. True, true. I'm taking off now. I'm going. Thank you for that, Chief. Thank you so much. That, and again, for those of you who are tuning in and listening, it may seem as if this is broken up, and you know, but we're having a build, we're having a conversation. And what I am doing as well too is I'm spotlighting and highlighting some of what is being shared by our Anu family, and like other guests, because it's going to help you as well follow that, the thoughts and the ideas that we're building on, and you know we're sharing. So I'll just go back a little. Master Menelek says, I've been building on name formulas in the Anu way and the concept of lineage. He shares, a good name is one of the most important items that we could realize in life. Indeed, it is true. It is true. The name is one of the most important items that we could realize. Um, and I mean, for some of us in our new, we have gone through that process of, being given a new name, you know. He goes on to say, when a name is recited, it not only invokes the attributes inherent in the name, but it pulls characteristics to the owner of the said name. It pulls characteristics to the owner of the said name. Yeah, there is a sonic, energetic frequency, for the names, and I think about when, even the fact that we're required to read the Anui daily, and reading it, out loud, and the value of, that daily reading, and the ability to hear, right? The ability to hear and process through hearing, um, is very is critical, because that processing through hearing is working on both the conscious and the subconscious. And so when a name is called, the same thing is also, it's happening, right? There's something being pulled out of each of us when I'm called Maria, when you're called Menelek, when Yafe is called Yafe. It's literally pulling. It's literally pulling. Thank you for sharing that. It's pulling, and pulling attributes that, we may not even know that are there, or attributes that are latent, you know. Um, and it that pulling, actually, the invoking. All right, because when I think about invoke, I just think about, like, literally pulling something from death into life, into action, into movement, A name, he says, a name magnetizes. And I'm saying he says, Master Menelik says, but he's pulling from the Anue, the name section. A name magnetizes heavenly qualities into the vessel of the recipient. it magnetizes. And when we think of magnetism, we're thinking about that power, right? We're thinking about, imagine a magnet. Oh my goodness. I I found what they're called earth magnets. Rare earth magnets. I have never seen anything so powerful before. Um, Small. I mean, there are large magnets that have been around, like really huge, very powerful, but they're so tiny. But they pack a punch. They literally, if they slam together, they break. That's how strong the pull is between them. And you can like literally hang things up through the width of a door. That's how strong and powerful the magnets are. So as you think about, when I read magnetize, all I could think about was that strength of the magnet that I experience, and how it pulls, right? How it yanks, right? So the same is true when we call that name. It's pulling down. It's pulling down those qualities that are from the heavens, beyond the brain, though, um, and it fills us, right? And if it's filling this vessel, which is clean, detoxed properly, right? Because if it's detoxed, then hey, there's space. Sorry, and your body has gotten rid of that waste, and so there's space for you to be filled with these new qualities. Um, you get a spanking new vessel with new qualities. Thank you for that. And for those of you who are listening, if you have questions or comments, or maybe you have the Anaway in front of you and you're reading through that section and you want to know more, or you want to pull on a piece that has been profound for you, please drop it in the chat or go to the comment section and share. Thank you. Sister Yafe says the dragon. The dragon reminds me of Tiamat being in those salty deep waters, yet not staying in an emotional state. And then she says, if the dragon moves beyond the 6 line of the hexagram, it is gone beyond its boundaries and needs to repent. Pushing to extremity is not always achievement, but can be a calamity. So those 6 lines of the hexagram creates a boundary for the dragon. It creates a boundary for the dragon. It creates a space for the dragon to experience its full potential. And if the assumption is that going beyond it is what is full potential, it actually becomes, wow, it becomes calamity. Pushing to extremity is not always achievement. True. I know some who have pushed their bodies to extremities as well. I know some who push, athletes or whatever. We can think about so many different types of people who push their bodies to extremity. And I know this is going beyond the physical body, but I think about just the way we're programmed to assume or to think that overachieving or that going beyond, and breaking the ceiling and all of those things are endearing, right? Um, and maybe they have their place, like I don't know. But I do know as I'm reading this, I'm grateful for it because, in many ways, again, we are programmed to assume or to think that it's the going beyond and the busting the this and the breaking through that is um, always as the sign, mark, and diploma diploma that marks achievement, right? Without realizing that in many ways it can cause harm, right? We could be shooting ourselves in the foot and we don't know. So I want to like go back because it's that idea of grabbing opportunities without, as you say, without what is it, overconfidence, right? Overconfidence. And I think we're taught that, like we're programmed that some of it is ego. Some of it is ego. Definitely ego. Definitely ego. Hmm. How does a dragon repent? How does a dragon repent? All right. Thank you for that, Chief. And thank you for dropping all of Chief is like dropping all of the oh, I missed this part. The second piece. I'm sorry. That was 8:22. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Hold on. Don't leave me behind. I think y'all leaving me behind. Oh, leaving me behind. Hold on. Chief also adds, also the humility reminds a dragon who is leading others to always prepare to fall from power and never sit in overconfidence and arrogance. Thank you. Thank you. The humility reminds a dragon who is leading others to always prepare to fall from power and never sit in overconfidence and arrogance. Hmm. Yeah, that overconfidence, I guess it ties back to the idea of grabbing those opportunities without that overconfidence because it might become missed opportunity. It might become missed opportunity. And so that fall from power is definitely then connected to that pushing beyond extremity or I'm sorry, pushing beyond the boundaries. Yeah, humility is so important. Humility, it makes a difference. And I know one of the podcasts that you did, I think you're on Seeking Wisdom, that we see the importance of humility to even receive, you know. Hmm. And humility is being, connected to the ground, right? What people say, being grounded, being humble, being humble. Yeah, it is an important part of receiving. It's an important part of receiving. And that humility, you say it reminds the dragon. What is the dragon then without that deeper understanding of the fall, and understanding how to move? Because sometimes when leading, or in the front or on top, or whatever the idea of leading conjures up for you, the assumption is that post opposition will always be there, or you'll always be in that post opposition, and there's no considering not just the what ifs, but just not considering other things, other aspects of being, other possibilities. Hmm. Hmm. This is I'm pondering so much right now. I'm pondering, and you're literally giving us answers, because I know earlier I asked about um, the humility. So now you're showing us, and even without knowing what the I Ching is or even seeing I Ching, now we have a lesson for our own lives and to apply to our own experiences. This is, Chief always gives examples, shares that cause for more than a pause. It's like slow it, slow it down. If you thought nothing. Mm-mm, thought wrong. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for sharing the link to podcast 72. What I will do is, since we made reference to these, and there are a couple of us, I think top tier speakers made reference to a text that was found in there. We will add these links to the description below, so that way you can use that. Um, right? And I say you can use it because when you're listening to these bills on Yam Shishi, and even the midday affirmatives as well, all our new videos and lectures and presentations and conversations, all of Chiefs, there are always additional references that we make, and so it's almost like a mini series sometimes if you really think about it, right? If you pull on the current presentation, or the current video that you're looking at, and then you go into the description, you can find like several layers of that topic or theme based on the different avenues that the links send you off on, right? But it's like a mini playlist in one place. And I really like that. I like how the different concepts are always connecting, right? And they create this larger network of knowledge, and you know then we get the chance to apply them, and we gain that wisdom. But it's like a network, right? It branches out. Thank you for sharing that, Chief. Master Menelek says, dang, my eyes are super bad tonight. My apologies, Iman. I thank Iman in your state. Give thanks. Right, okay, because I was like, I saw it when you did. I was like, the Shiva and Shakti reference was one from the segments dealing with the power. Yep, yep. It was. You're correct. It was a three-part series or four-part series, but it was from those. How does the song go? Those were the days. I'm not gonna sing because I can't sing. But I think it was three strongs or four strongs over a month, over the month of May, if I'm not mistaken. 2017, y'all. Check it. Check it. Yakira Eden says, even more, I'm saying there is no way I have earned the all that is gifted to me. So all I can do is be grateful for the grace, not demands full of ingratitude. Gotcha. 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 Hmm. Gotcha. Gotcha. Indeed. Listen, that's true for all of us, right? What they say, you speak a book. Yeah, you speak a book. Here is the segment on Shakti power. And I have to scroll past these weird sites because my finger touched on one of them. Aki Zach, welcome. I don't even think I saw you. Listen, it's 8:55 and I'm reading from like 8:35. So I'm so behind, it's not even funny. I feel bad. Oh my gosh. The names R Rahman and R Rahim are definitely stuck with me. Rahim. Aki Zak says in episode 76, Chief spoke on pursuing peace rather than happiness, wealth rather than money, and love rather than being surrounded by people that has been replaying in my head. Wealth rather than money, and love rather than being surrounded by people. Right? Love is a connection. So you're not just surrounded by any old people, bodies. They say bodies in morgues. Bodies are found in morgues, but not by any old body, right? But by love, right? And we know love is a connection. So whatever you're surrounded by, you're in harmony with, right? Because there's that connection. And that's the original way that we were. Wild ones that we were. All right. So Aki Zach Latimer says, also fake healers who wear all that stuff to make it seem like they're deep in mysticism but really don't know Jack. Right. He also spoke of those who what they call um, play the singing bowls and so on and so forth. And it made me think of those who ring the big old bells and yeah, wear the long chains, the prayer beads. Um, it's an aesthetic, it's a look, right? It's a look. Um, yeah, it's a look. It's a look. Even when people talk about okay, the conscious community, there's a look, you know. And in many ways, many people think that the look validates you. You know, they think the look validates you, but you use the word right, fake healers. You know, yeah, that podcast spoke about healers. Being a healer, and it's not about the singing bowls and then beads. It's not. Aki Zach Latimer says, oh, and in episode 77 with the symbols and how the numbers start to map out one's life, and there is no such thing as the star of the. Oh my goodness. Okay, Aki Zach. Aki Zach just, listen, you brought me right back to school today. That's what you just did. You just took everything you're like, okay, here, and here, and here, all of it. Take it all one time. Boom. Oh my goodness. Yes. Those numbers mapping out one's life, and yeah, there's no Star of David, right? By the those who say they have and use the symbol of the Star of David, but it's actually I thought of alchemy, but he speaks on the symbol of the delta, which is the triangle, and it representing the end of a thing. And if you look at the start of David, the Star of David, you'll see that it is like one triangle imposed on the other. She says the name piece is true. That is why some take the divine name, not receive. You know, Chief Yuya says some things. You just have to slow down and read. Oops, I apologize. The name piece is true. That is why some take the divine name, not receive it. them take it, them take the things. You understand? Because it's mine. Grab up and go. They take the divine name, not receive, but never really use it. What the name pulls is too abrasive to their demons. Every time I read a statement that you share, it's just like totally brain stop, slow down. It is too abrasive to their demons. Right, right? Because it goes back to the idea of those heavenly attributes being pulled down. And if it's a heavenly attribute, it cannot sit in the same space where demons reside. You know, it makes me consider the idea of two cultures living in one place. One is gonna fight out the other, you know. One's gonna fight out the other, and we know which one will win. We know, you know. So that's why if it's not from a place of being receptive to what the name pulls, then it's like it's as we always say, and this is from Chief, of course, the idea of haberdashery, right? The wearing of a thing and not the being of it. You know, so I can take on a name, take on a name, take on a divine name, the divine name, and not necessarily to receive, right? And receive connects to receptivity. And when we're receptive, you're open, right? You're open. You're not putting up barriers to deflect, right? And to allow things to bounce off so they're not absorbed, right? You don't cover your vessel so that you don't receive what should be poured into it, right? While having a name painted on the outside of the vessel, posturing as one thing, but indeed not functioning as it, you know? Yeah, that's a key piece. What the name pulls is too abrasive to the demons. To the demons. Every time I say the word, it just sounds so weird. Thank you, Chief. Akizak says, and so many people don't understand the power of a name, yet still invest in affirmations but see no correlation. Right, right. Akizak, Master Melek says, the fake healer piece reminds me of the title of the previous segment, Jive Turkey. You're right. Jive Turkey Magic. I don't know. Yeah, everybody's in those old segments. Those are some, yeah, those old segments. Those, what is it? Those were the days. I can't sing. So just excuse me over here. Oh my goodness. I am so behind. Um, da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. I'm sorry. I think I'm behind, but I'm missing a whole bunch of good stuff on the back end. So let me see if I could scroll and move fast. She says not just a boundary. So he's talking about the hexagram. Let me see if I can move faster, y'all, because I think I'm moving real slow tonight. I apologize. Um, I apologize. Thank you for your your kindness. Each line is a dimensional platform to leap from, um, that has its own inherent rules. So each level requires a different character sense. I see. I see. I see. So that's why if you were to go outside of the boundary, or you will go outside of that dimension, then yeah, it's calamity because you're functioning with with attributes or your functioning does not fit that new level. It does not fit, and you're also probably functioning without attributes that you would need for that next level. Each level requires a different, and I like, thank you for being clarifying that the stance is not just a stance, it's a character stance. So character is crucial here, and the character that is required in one level may not be required for another level, or so it requires something different. It requires a character that's different. Yafe says it is because the 6 is the woman's limitation and she needs the 1 to go beyond. And I know we learn in supreme mathematics that the 6 is the woman's limitation. And it may be true. This may be true that she needs that 1 additional to go beyond. That 1 would be the knowledge, which would be the man. However, I am reluctant to mix I Ching and supreme math. However, I also say again too, you see, this is interesting. There's so many different angles because numbers don't change. Like numbers are the same wherever you go. Their cultural value and meanings they take on different cultural value and meanings depending on where we're studying them from. It's just as interesting how you shared that, and I'm like, okay, well that's supreme math. However, what she is speaking on is I Ching, but then numbers are numbers. So let me hear, because he probably has shared an answer. So I don't want to get up here and posture at all, but I just thought to answer the question and not ignore it. I think it's interesting though, the question, because it begins to make you think, okay, supreme mathematics, I Ching, how are those numbers very, very much similar? And this is on the heels of the podcast on numbers and symbols, right? So it's like, it has me thinking. Akizak says a dragon protects treasure. Treasure could be you and your connection to the creator. When one goes off and does their own thing, then one would need to repent. That's my 2 cents. Right. Thank you. Agreed. I see. So you're not functioning from a vision of the Elohim or a vision given to you by a creator, but you're functioning off of what you want, what you envision. 2 cents calculated and added to the piggyback. I'm just. She says, Yuya reminds me of. And this reminds me of when you spoke about the abundance of messages that push productivity, but doesn't advise measured exertion. They encourage us to push without rest until breakthrough occurs. True, without recognizing what's required for the moment, or the level, right? If we're thinking about that, if we're thinking about, I'm so behind. If we're thinking about the I Ching. All right, I'm stopping and speaking on everything. Let me see if I can move faster. Haughtiness makes one's spiritual levity very difficult and becomes something very wicked in the process. Akizak says it would be just blowing fire on everyone and killing them in my summation. Right, that dragon, right? That dragon, true. Peace, Ricochet 7. Peace, peace, peace. Peace, welcome. Um, I, she said, Chief US says, anybody share this segment or are you all ninjas hoarding all this Maryland farmer gold? What? Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh, I'm laughing like 10 minutes later. Okay? So I know you're laughing at me now because I am like, no, matter of fact, I'm 15 minutes behind on the laugh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. It's bad. um the idea of bringing honor to the title instead of assuming it brings us honor. Um Mayuba Divi says it's always important for leaders to remind themselves of their own impermanence by managing their arrogance and overconfidence. The leader gives space and empowers potential successors. False pretenders are 10 percenters who fool the masses for their demonic pleasure and steal, kill, and destroy the nucleus of righteous teachers. They are more dangerous than electrified fences. Oh, oh my goodness. Wait, this one needs to be on the spotlight. They are more dangerous than electrified fences. Hmm. The 10 percenters. Because, some people give their life over to them, right? Without being able to decipher. Oh my gosh, she said coconut bowl ringtone. All right. That was not my ringtone, by the way. That was just an alarm, okay? And don't think it was coconut bowls, okay? Oh gosh. Oh my goodness. Coconut bowl ringtone. So, top tier speakers is giving us a little bit more. She says the book Urugu speaks about the European worldview. One of the things that I learned that keeps replaying in the mind is that the European has a hard time thinking on a multi-dimensional level. Mm-hmm. Akizak says at that in that once that false teacher gets into one's subconscious, it's hard for one to come along and show a different way. Pulling from episode 76. Yes. Yeah, these episodes have been filled. They are full. They are very full. She says if I have a social media account and I have followers, um, it would stand to reason that I'm a leader. The bar has been set low for the credentials of leadership. It has absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. And for those who live, I mean, and I'll say this, of late, I have been in a space where I can explore the new ways that youth learn. And I will say there is over exposure to artificial AI learning, right? Or digital learning, or virtual learning, I should say, even though they're in a classroom. And I understand certain things. But my point is, though, it goes to your point, Chief. The virtual world is now the standard, right? Someone created it as a standard for those who are not aware, right? So in that virtual world, you can dictate, right? And this is not the metaverse yet, right? Yet, but it's coming, right? Um, for many, it's here and they're experiencing it. But if my world is social media, and that is where I get my ethics from, my code from, my language from, my knowledge base from. If that is what I'm building my understanding on top of, um, and all I see all day are dances, I'm a piano, doot, doot. If that's all I see, then That's all I know about the standard for leadership, the standard for making, creating, producing, the standard for music, the standard for behavior, the standard for thinking, the standard for culture. No standard, pretty much. But that if I exist in that world and that is the sum total of my reality, false reality, right? Then it's, yes, it's sad. It's a sad case. The bar is set very low, um, for credentials. If that's all it is, I have followers. I have many fanatics, fans, and I'm an influencer. I'm an influencer. I have a couple K's behind my name. Never mind if you kind of look sharp and dig deep and start to follow the numbers, you probably see somebody pay for those extra zeros behind there. But it doesn't even matter, right? Because what matters is the clout that I have based on the number of zeros. Someone says I'm an influencer, and that is the sum total of what makes me leadership, you know? And again, for those who live in that world, it's like a horse with what you call those, blinders on, right? That's it. Is this is your world, right? This. Oh, that looks too close like the metaverse. I'm sorry. Metaverse glasses, or virtual. Uh, what are they called? Those, not virtual goggles. Stop. I'm just joking. Um, but virtual glasses, right? But that's the box that you're in, right? And that's all, that's what your reality would be, which is not a reality. It's yours, but you know, yeah, that's the truth. Akizak says there was a video Chief posted of a girl that put on a meet and greet and nobody showed up. Sad when folks translate followers into leaders but never sat down and shared a meal. Right. Shared a meal. And Chief, you have spoken to this before in many ways, right? It's funny because I did get a visual on Icarus when you spoke on when you shared on launching out and flying and launching out and grabbing opportunities, but without overachievement. I literally thought I could see him gluing the feathers on, you know. But based on what you shared, Akizak, in terms of like the meet and greet and folks translating followers into leaders. I remember Chief doing a breakdown, and I remember a conversation around this too as well, maybe in Wednesday study session or so. But there being a conversation around, like observing the leaders, the people who we say are leaders are our leaders, or the people who we identify as Jegna, or who we look up to, really taking a look at how they live their lives, right? And noticing that many of them do not have families of their own, right? So they may say they have this or that, they have all these followers or whatever, but at no point do you see them exhibiting what is a core necessity for leadership, a core necessity for nation building and community, having family of your own, being able to orchestrate, organize, maintain, construct, expand family. I think that's an important thing to consider. So for those of us listening, those of you who are may tune in later, or maybe you're tuning in now and you're listening, share this with someone who you think can be nourished from this build this evening, because in many ways, I think we put a lot of our hope and our trust in who we think are leaders, but we don't really vet them based on the standard. All right. And if you want to know what that standard is, Chief Yuya, International done that. Seriously, check out the Chief Yuya calculations. right? Check out the Chief Yuya podcast. Um, Check out the podcast on the books that will help to fine tune our understanding of what the foundations of African thought is. Because when you do that, then you're working from a code, right? You're working from a standard that goes beyond a couple of zeros behind your name and a K or an M behind the number of viewers that you have or a person has. Um, it's really about like who's giving feeding them their vision, where they're getting that vision from, what is the model that they are showing off for you. And when I say showing off, I really don't mean them putting it on like a piece of clothing, but really what do you see, because when you're able to see it and you see that modelship or that model, yeah, that confirms, yeah, you moving off of African thought, or you moving off of Hebrew thought, or you moving off of vision, Elohim's vision, right? That's your mode of vision, right? I could keep going, so let me stop because I could keep, you know, talking, but I really appreciate all of the shares. I don't want to skip any, but I appreciate it because it really helps us speak on the truth. It speaks on the truth, and it really, I think it helps to underscore that idea again of A alike. Like what is that A alike? And just being alike. How are we functioning and moving, right? Aligned. And then the seeing alike, that deciphering, the seeing the truth, peeling back the layers and saying, boom, 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 you know what this is. And it's not off of you, like you doing it on your own. Like Chief is even in here, giving us more, pointing us to all of the additional lenses within the Anu lens, or different ways of seeing things, and deciphering. So Chief says, going past the sixth line, so this is back to the Kian uh, hexagram of heaven. Going past the sixth line is like Icarus being totally unprepared and flying too close to the sun due to pride. The moment of success shouldn't abolish measuring and reflection. The moment of success shouldn't abolish measuring and reflection, right? Right. So it's interesting because in that story, like it I remember when I read this like that for the first time. You just read it off and you're like, mythology, it's another good story, you know. But it was so important, the piece about him rising close to the sun, where the heat from the sun began to change. And this is now as an adult, I'm saying like the heat from the sun change the chemical position of the bonds in the glue. And so the glue start like melting and totally disintegrates. And the feathers, they're like, bye. So it is very important to constantly be in flight and being moving, flying, functioning off of that measurement, right? Assessing where am I, looking at where you are, considering, yeah, as you said, considering um, that humility kind of shows us and prepares us for that fall. Like why would you fall? You know, and if you're this high, how hard is that fall? How long is that fall? So that measurement and reflection must always be consistent. It's not something that goes away because now I have reached the apex. I'm accomplished. I'm there. You know, it's so true. It is so true. It would be nice to hear that story of Icarus again. Icarus again. It would be. It would be. Let me move because I am moving slow, y'all. I apologize. Um, Ricochet says, just tapping into the build at Memphis, Tennessee, traveling to LA, a break from trucking to discover and experience Skid Row, but overall expanding my service to others. Okay, because Chief did ask something earlier. All right, so you all are building in the chat. Thank you. Chi says Master Magnetic says people are actually paying for plots of land in the metaverse with bitcoins. It's kind of close. Oh, thank you. She says if those people are your leaders, are you actually following the direction and walking with them or just acknowledging them as good informational resources? Right. 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 Hey, Zach says, I remember one of the segments on enlightenment and transformation when folks were getting locked up behind good old polite. Oh, did you say good old? Good old? I don't know if those two go together. But yes, Aki. Zach. She says, uptown, downtown, wrong tongue. I mean, real, real Nubian Batman. You don't know. Oh my goodness. Oh. Yeah, and now that is the standard. If you didn't know, now you know. Yes, Daniel Loveless, I just took your talk. Uh, this is so funny. Oh my goodness. There is so much. There was so much in this build this evening. And um, again, I think it goes to really highlight the idea of being air-likes, right? Understanding what that is, understanding the value of um, community, understanding the value of being able to call another an air-like, not just because of the proclaimed, oh, like I'm a new, or oh, I know Chief Yuya, or oh, I listen to the podcast, going beyond that. Like, I'm sorry, my left eye is closing and I look really weird. I just see myself, I'm like, oh. But going beyond that and actually applying the gems, applying that knowledge, and learning from it and growing from it, allowing, not even allowing, because when you allow, it's kind of like, okay, it's piecemeal. No, receiving, right? Because I think about um, the statement Chief made earlier about those taking on the divine name, taking it on rather than receiving it, and what that is, because receiving is receptivity too. All right. So yeah, there was a lot shared. Um, there was a lot shared this evening, and I appreciate everyone for like jumping in and pouring into our build. Um, what was that? Never good old, come on now, don't do the buddies like that. No, nah, brother Zach, what's good with that message? We saw it out here doing body. What? Oh, all right. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. My voice getting like hoarse now. So the hoarse, it is really hard to speak. So please excuse me. I have to go. No, there's a whole thing happening in chat, and some of it is going over my head, y'all. But some of it, not all of it, because sometimes I don't know what's like happening in the streets, so I can't really talk. Um, but like if anybody, but right, I saw bodies too. I was like, doing bodies? What does that mean? I know. I was just like, huh? Oh, you mean dropping bodies? Is that what it said? Oh my, maybe I can. No, I don't want Zaki. Aki Zaki, he's spitting out water. Probably have none left. Oh my gosh. I don't know. I thought it was dropping bodies for a minute because it's like dropping bodies. Anyhow, yeah, but good and old don't even go together. Not with that name. I ain't gonna hide to say it, hide my mouth to say it. Um, but hey, who am I? Who am I? Um, that means he got water to spare. Okay, good. I was just like, what? Okay. Oh my goodness. So this is the one thing I wanted to remind us all of, that during each strong we begin our strong with the build, the midday affirmative on Yom Rishon, and then of course our Anu blog comes out on during that time. I have some more notes, but my computer crashed on me, so I am going with the flow and moving off of the build that's happening in the chat. That's what we have been doing, and it was really great. It was really great. But the Anu blog actually comes out on Yom Rishon as well. So for those of you who are you might be looking for inspiration. You might be looking for a solid way to begin a structured strong. Some people say weak, but we say strong. That's part of being an ALite. You have uh, a common language that you use that's empowering, right? And I think the blog is a great way to start off, but also tuning into the midday affirmative, and that's um, broadcast live on YouTube, the Anu Life Global Ministry, this exact channel, at midday on Yom Rishon, not Shan, not Yom Rishon, Yom Rishon, um, which is Sunday, and also on Clubhouse. So we look forward to that. Chief Yuya also comes out with a new podcast on. You can look up for it on Tuesdays. The full name of the podcast is Chief Yuya Learn the Calculations Insights of a Royal Man. There are 77 episodes, and like one thing I'll say is some of those episodes are actually commands, right? They're commands. They're called, where do I put the S? They're command the day bills. So you can find them on YouTube as well, which is a great thing. And you can also find them on I listen to them on Spotify, but listen to them on Apple and give your reviews on Apple. Sorry about the coconut bowl, the coconut bowl ringtone. Excuse me. Um, on Wednesdays, we Anu have our own exclusive build together. We build, and we've been building on the 12 tribes so far. And it's a really great build. We're getting into the census, the numbers of the census, who were the men that were counted, which tribes were counted, which tribes were not. Um, all of the, I was personally studying Levi and the idea of the order of the priests and where they stand their role. So these are good, strong bills that go on into the you know hours, go on for hours. And on Thursday, Aki El Karar has been delving into the Code of Hammurabi. And really, you're able to see those slides are really important because you're able to make the connections between the codes and law and current law. He pulls on Way, he pulls on other sacred texts, and shows you that aligning of those laws. So tune in to all of the different faces of Anu. But there's a lot happening in the chat, so I'm just go to the chat and then say peace and happy Sabbath to everyone. Um, Oh, so Brother Zach is ready for catch up. Even his autocorrect knows it. Ladies, bring your bodies to Anu and submit your request for the brother. Oh boy. I read that in a different way. Uh so I'm not even gonna say anything. Matchmaking. Yes, matchmaking. Bring yourselves on over here. I just learned LSG in my oh my god. Okay. Yes, Ima Yakira Eden. I appreciate you. Thank you for a great bill, your contributions. Chief Yuya, thank you for your contributions. Aki Zach Latimer, thank you for your contributions. Um, y'all, I don't know. I think I'll probably laugh afterward because then I'll figure out what some of these things actually mean. She says, and don't forget, every Sunday we do the annual car detailing service and all day babysitting. Okay. I don't know why. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Say so good. You make you want to suck your mouth. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry, y'all. I just couldn't help it. Yes, that's so bad. Oh yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that coconut bowl thing, that was cheap, right? Because yeah, I'm not a coconut, okay? Julia says rims, and the cheapest daycare in the country. Being two children, I get a lot. Oh my goodness. No, no, no. Mango lemonade? Oh my. Free mango lemonade? Listen, mango lemonade take a lot to make, you know. I don't think it could be free. Okay, I didn't know. I do have a coconut ringtone now on behalf of oh boy. Shabba Shabba. What? No, no. Yeah, they're doing me wrong too. That's it. I'm like coconut ringtone over here. A whole anu coconut ringtone. It's so wrong, you know? All the coconut references. It's not me alone, you know. I'm not the only one who has like coconut in my blood, you know, because there got some others who are here who has coconut in their blood. So it's not me alone, okay? Where are my fellow coconuts? Please stand up. Uh, this is so funny. I appreciate the laughter. I appreciate having a good laugh. Trust me. Even though I don't know some of the laughs, I mean, I'm still thinking about the doing bodies versus dropping bodies. I'm like trying to figure that part out. Master Menulek, you have your next logo sketch. Oh boy, this is bad. What? Okay. Shabbat shalom, everyone. Enjoy your evening. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Enjoy your rest up. Sleep well. I want to say give thanks to Chief Yuya who makes this possible. And yeah, no, I wouldn't make that joke. But if you're going through this and you enjoy the laugh, thank you. He always brings the knowledge and brings the laughter too. Much appreciated. Thank you, top tier speakers, Ricochet 7. Thank you for joining us, Aki Zach, Master Menelek, um, Ima Yakira Eden, Imanaya. Yes, people there. Yeah, yeah. Give thanks. Anyone else in here? Aki Ra was here earlier, and Akuti Yafe. Peace, y'all. Peace, y'all. Peace, 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 peace. Peace.